How's it, guys? Good, thanks, man. Do either of you maybe have 5 minutes for a quick chat? I can explain to you what I'm doing if you're interested. I flag people down and I talk to them about any belief that they might hold. You pick the topic. I put on a timer for 5 minutes so that I respect your time. And I basically just ask questions to understand how you came to the belief and why you think it's true. Does that sound like something that either of you would like to try?
Why is it? No, you're having a great debate of Christianity today, so.
Because now you're being thrown into the fire here.
No, I'm being forced because no, my guy, you start. It's cool.
Okay. So my name is Ben. Sandile.
Yeah.
Zenzele. Cool. Nice to meet you guys. So you want to start, Sandile? Okay. I do record the interviews if people are happy to do that. Some of the interviews I post on YouTube, a lot of people find it very interesting. And for me, I kind of open myself up to people to say, listen, you could have done this better. So would you be happy if I record it? If you, at the end of the conversation, you tell me, Ben, please don't use that footage, dude. My mom is going to see this and she's going to be so pissed at me. I won't use it.
No, it's fine. No, on YouTube.
Okay, cool. Not yet. After this, you might be a star.
What? Never.
Cool, Sandile. So, what would you like to talk about? What belief do you hold?
Belief? Which belief is it?
It can be literally anything. Some people like to talk about religious beliefs. The lady I spoke to just before you guys came past spoke to me about her belief that love is what drives people, or lack of self-love is what drives people to be in conflict with each other. A guy spoke to me about his belief that land grabs, as going to implemented by our government, is going to fail. So it can literally be anything. But typically, the more passionate you are about the belief, the more interesting the conversation is.
The religious belief of the racism.
Racism?
Yeah. About how...
Religious belief creates racism.
No. So it must be linked to religion.
Okay.
Must it be linked to religion?
No. Sorry, I think maybe I heard you incorrectly. So you want to talk about racism?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's a very interesting topic. Cool. What was your belief about racism?
In hindsight, people, generally black people, have been using racism as a shield instead of actually doing things themselves and blaming everything on racism and just waiting. Like, if they have no jobs, they blame racism and say they don't have no jobs and strikes, and the people could just go and look for jobs.
Okay, cool. So correct me if I'm wrong. You're saying people, and specifically black people, use racism as a scapegoat for bad things in their lives. Okay.
In the past, racism was there, but then now it's just you using racism from the past when it's not so applicable these days.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's not there, but it's still there, but it's not so strong as our forefathers and grandfathers experienced. So we have more opportunities, and we just choose to like complain and say nah, this and that, but when actually we can just skip that part and just work for ourselves.
What convinced you that sorry, let me just stop my time here. What convinced you that people are using racism as a scapegoat?
Like example, what's this school was it in Gauteng school in it called racist because it was Afrikaans speaking only, and children had to learn Afrikaans. But I only see the racism there because even if we also want to have Zulu speaking school, we can have a Zulu speaking school, and then in Zulu speaking people can come and attend it. So it's not really a racist thing. We're just throwing racism waves not to people at all.
Okay, so you're saying like this is an example of the school where it's Afrikaans speaking school, and they were excluding people by saying if you don't speak Afrikaans, you can't come to the school. But if you come speak Afrikaans, anybody is welcome.
Yeah,
that's an example racism being labeled as racism, but it's not really racism.
It's not really racism because we also have our African schools. We don't see people going there if they don't know how to speak our language. But they didn't. Then if the white people decide to make a school, they all go crazy.
Yeah.
And like more recently at UP, they have a virtual open day. People are saying that's racist and classist, but that's not really racist. It is classist in a way because only the rich can afford internet services to attend the open day. But the racism day is not existence. The classism may be linked to the racism if you look at it, because many people who are in the lower class are black people.
Yeah.
But the university's intention wasn't really to be racist. It was more of like an accommodation which had a negative effect of being classist.
Okay.
So you can't really say it's racist in that sense. It's not racist, just classist only. But people just use that as it's more screen for everything.
Okay. So Sandile, so these examples, if we granted that these are actually not racism, right? Do these examples exclude all other cases where people say, listen, because of racism, this bad thing is happening to me? Do those two examples exclude the validity of all of those other statements?
No, in racism is still there, but the more we use racism for things which are not racist, then it makes all the other claims of racism less important, because in a case where there is actual racism, it will be looked down upon and said, oh no, you're call everything racist.
Okay, cool. So how can we determine if something is actually racist or not?
The only way to determine if anything is racist is to look at it from a neutral standpoint, that have no emotions, no side, no prejudice, and then look. And if you can't do this, just look at it from both sides, from the person being racist, the person who's supposed to be being affected by the racism, and then you'll be able to see, is it really racist or is it just a misconception that it's racism?
Okay. So if somebody came to you and on one of these examples that you mentioned, the Afrikaans school or the online registration, and explained to you why they think it is racist to a degree of your satisfaction, would you be willing to change your mind on whether one of those two is racist or not?
If the person provides a sound argument which is neutral, not biased at all, then I'll be able to accept it. But then if you're going to base things on past events and other things, then I can't really just say, okay, that's racist.
Okay. If the person who came with the argument to you, that person is not neutral. Maybe it's a friend who believes strongly that racism is still a scourge which needs to be wiped out. But their argument might still be neutral. Do you think you'd hear out their argument? Or would you kind of already, because they're not neutral, be hesitant to hear it out?
Nah, I'll listen to the argument, because not all racists are just full on racist. They also have some clarity in the argument, because, as I said, some things are racist, but some things aren't at all. So you have to hear it out first before you just label it racist or not. Because if I also just say, nah, he's speaking wrong things, I'm also becoming like him, because he also just says, because it's that, okay, it's racist, without really looking at every side.
Okay.
Decide.
So maybe just to sum up our conversation, so you're saying that racism might be used as a scapegoat in certain instances, but we need to look at each case individually, and we need to look at the neutral arguments rationally, without being emotional about it, without applying our own biases, and that's the only way that we can truly determine if something is racist or not.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool, man. I really appreciate your time. It's a very cool insight.